All right, everybody, and we are back. I hope you are as excited as I am for our next game. We're going to be doing Skylanders Spyro's Adventure. So we went from hunting the dragons to being the dragons. Now, without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to our awesome runner and commentator. So, Mark Alarm, good. Feel free to take it away. Good luck and have fun.
Thank you very much. First off, hi, I'm Mark Alarm, and this is Skylanders Spyro's Adventure. I'm just going to show off a very quick thing of just to explain what this game really is. So, if you all can see, I have a camera with this thing right here called the Portal of Power, and I have this thing right here called the Skylander. If you're familiar with Amiibo, that is kind of like that, where you're using toys to bring the game to life. And that's what this entire game really is all about, is taking these toys and bringing the game to life. So, I was just doing that to show you what's kind of going on, and we'll start the run shortly. I'm ready if you all are.
Hello, I'm Mega Ant-Man, and I will be commentating along with Mark Alarm. Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. I know, probably rare to see a speedrun with a physical aspect to it that doesn't involve just a controller, but it's a very unique concept, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this.
I can give a countdown, or I can be counted down. I'm not sure.
You want me? Wait, oh.
Yeah, feel free to count him down, Mega Ant.
Okay, I'll do this then. No pressure, no pressure. Alright, we're gonna begin in 3, 2, 1, go. And here we are, Any Glitchless for Skylanders Spyro's Adventure for the Nintendo Wii. Should also point out that this is for the Wii specifically. On PS3, Xbox, and other consoles, like PC even, the version is actually completely different. So this is the Wii version. It's generally the most speedrun version of the game, but you know, feel free to check out the PC version or the PS3 version. It's like different. We call it HD. It's literally just physics are different and everything, but same game layout and all.
So to give a little bit of background information on this run, there's a lot of things going on. Well, not a lot going on in this level, but there's a lot of things going on in the run. And this first level is honestly one of the longest, just because of all the unskippable cutscenes. Later on, a lot of the cutscenes are skippable, so we'll just take this time to kind of explain what's going on. So first off, I'm playing in French. It's the fastest language for this game between the text boxes and the voice acting, so we use French to just save a little bit of time there. And you'll notice that I'm playing as Stealth Elf. Stealth Elf is arguably one of the best characters in the game, and for Glitchless, she is the best character in the game. She has the highest speed in the game and one of the highest damage per seconds in the game, so she takes out enemies really quick, just melts through boss fights. We will be seeing a few other Skylanders here and there, and you'll be able to see that when you get to those points, but for now we're just going to be going with the old reliable.
Right, and I believe I don't know if Stealth Elf is like the fastest character in the game, certainly up there. There's other things we'll be using Stealth Elf for. You'll see it in the next chapter, actually. It's a very unique skip. It's a built-in game. I guess that'll be explained when we get there. But yeah, Stealth Elf has one of the highest, we call it DPS, which is damage per second, as Mark stated. Maybe not the highest. I think it's certainly very well up there. Her A attack is absolutely insane. Like, if you'll probably see it in boss fights or fighting other enemies, but Stealth Elf will be able to clean enemies in like less than a second, as opposed to other characters that would probably take like, I don't know, half a minute maybe. So yeah, Stealth Elf definitely the most viable for Glitchless. And if there are going to be moments where we are going to use other Skylanders because movement might be a little more, I guess, costly. Ooh, oh, also, yeah, right there where Mark is using a movement gimmick. So Stealth Elf has a B attack where she goes like into shadow mode, and if you press A out of that B attack, she jumps forward. And while you're in the air, you can use that to gain extra momentum. And because of that, Mark Alarm was able to skip an extra bounce pad and save a few seconds. So things like that, you're going to see a lot of just neat optimizations to be able to save time in glitchless because, you know, you can't use glitches. So we're just using what the game provides us to speed things up So it makes it a very unique category.
Yeah, Glitchless is like the most movement-heavy category that Skylanders, or at least Spyro's Adventure, has to offer. All the other categories are, as far as I'm aware, a lot more trick-based, where you're trying to just get like a skip that saves 4 minutes or a warp that brings you from the beginning of the level to the end. But Glitchless is all about just doing the small optimizations where we can and adding those up to save upwards of minutes over the course of an entire roughly hour and a half, hour 45.
Yeah, and yeah, progression within splits is going to be like it's definitely very different in glitchless because you have to make your optimizations count as opposed to just like any percent where if you just miss a skip, you generally just restart the run, things like that. Also, I'm going to assume that most people here don't speak French, so in case you don't, let me try to do my best to keep you up on the plot. Basically, a villain named Chaos, Kaos, is trying to take over Skylands by removing the Core of Light, and the Core of Light has been destroyed, and you're here. Well, I guess this chapter is like a little offsetting of the plot, but in general, you're trying to fix the Core of Light by collecting a bunch of items. Oh, also, Mark Alarm waited right there so that he could not get stuck into a cutscene while being able to walk, because if you do that, you can't fire that cannon immediately. So Mark Alarm waited around for blobbers to activate that cutscene. And very nicely done. Good chapter 1 to start.
Yeah, pretty solid.
So yeah, main villain is Chaos. You'll see him around. We're gonna do our best to defeat him in a pretty short amount of time. I don't think he's prepared for how fast we actually are.
So coming up in this... Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say this is Flynn. He's a fan favorite character.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, coming up in this level introduces a couple of gimmicks that we're going to be seeing throughout the rest of the game. A couple of them actually matter. A couple of them just kind of exist. This first one introduces the idea of certain areas giving a boost to your Skylanders attack, given the element. So there are 8 different elements in the game, and Stealth happens to be a life Skylander. So if we're in a life area, she'll get a little bit of an attack boost. And that only really matters in one circumstance, but it matters enough to where we actually have to consider it and make use of it.
Is that chapter 10? With the...
Yeah, it's in,
yeah,
it's in chapter 10.
Yeah, and in other categories, the elemental zones can be used, specifically in 14. We use the undead zone. Undead is one of the elements, and there's a time where we actually do a skip with an undead Skylander. So we happen to have that zone, and we can take advantage of defeating a boss with it. So definitely used across other categories too, but since we're mostly just using a life Skylander... Oh, here's something. If you want to explain, Mark.
Yeah, so this little bridge right here is just an intended mechanic of the game, where if you're a life Skylander, you can kind of just run across that.
Yeah.
If you want to try to explain this.
Yeah, we happen to be a life Skylander going there. It's kind of like a hidden skip. Oh, also right here.
Ooh, let's go!
Ooh, nice. Okay, so that's a cannon area, and you can do that in 2 shots. It's supposed to be intended to do 4, but with the life mechanics, you shoot out watermelons, so giant targets, and you're trying to destroy all 4 keys. And you can just barely get both of them in 2 shots. I think the left one's generally a little harder. But yeah, so Mark has to evenly space the shots between both locks, so that way you can get a, I guess we call it a 2-shot. And
yeah,
it makes the cannon go by faster. Also, Mark just destroyed a bunch of Bramble with Stealth Off, because Stealth Off has like a large multi-hit with the A attack. It's really easy to get rid of that Bramble really quickly. So, very nice mechanic we can use.
A fun fact about that Cali cutscene is that there is a strat you can do that only saves time in English. It doesn't matter because English isn't the fastest language, but if you're in English, the text takes slow enough to where you can quit to the menu, leave the menu, or quit out to the menu, come back in the game, and then it skips the Cali cutscene and saves time there. It's a really weird time save that doesn't actually help anything, but it's just a little interesting thing.
Yeah. Although on any percent, we actually we do skip it with French anyway because we're able to use it to switch to Ghost Roaster. So we could take the extra time to switch Skylanders. I should probably explain that. So it takes like I don't know, 5 seconds between Skylander swaps. So when you take a Skylander off and on the portal, And a lot of optimizations we have are based off of that 5 seconds alone. So there's definitely, I don't know if there's much of that in Glitchless. I think there might be like a section or two where we try to optimize our Skylander swaps. But
Yeah,
generally not.
there are some optimizations in Glitchless. There's instances where you'll see what happens for some of them. It'll be better to explain it then, but we try to avoid swapping as much as possible because of that time loss. So we kind of just want to stick to one as much as we can, and because Stealth Elf is so good, we just kind of stick with her.
Right. Yeah, and it actually makes a really unique concept because you can't just like break out the most overpowered Skylander just for like a split second for any moment you need, because you have to wait through those 5 seconds to switch, and then you have to wait through another 5 seconds to switch back if you want to. So it makes for a really unique concept of how efficiently we're going to be using each Skylander when we need them. So that's why, like, you know, here in Glitchless, Stealth Elf is pretty easily like the most efficient. Maybe there's like a few Skylanders that could do like specific parts a little faster, but because of the 10 seconds we would need to switch back and forth, it's just not worth it. Because Stealth Elf, maybe not the fastest Skylander, but pretty close to being the fastest Skylander. So yeah, it's a really neat concept. Also, this is chapter 3, and we're just entering cannons, pretty much. It's gonna be a little fighting. Yeah, cannons. Enjoy shooting zeppelins. It's gonna be large ones and small ones.
This is one of the examples where Glitchless and just standard any percent take a pretty big difference. In any percent, I believe they use Zook to clip through the gates that you would otherwise take down by using the cannons, as you can see here. But that's, you know, glitch, so not really allowing that for this category.
Right, but it does kind of capture Glitchless in a way that, like, you know, it's a much more relaxed run. Like, there's definitely a lot more pressure in running categories that are more glitch heavy, because you've got to like put the time in to practice every glitch, and then you get there, you feel pressured, you mess up, you got to restart a run or something. But in Glitchless, it's just about keeping pace, just keeping up your time, and not falling too far behind to where you can't like PB or can't achieve whatever goal you're trying to get. Also, this is a really good example right here of Stealth Elf's overpowered damage, because you could just move around really quickly and just spam A, and the enemies are just gone. So we're going to be going around here. This is called a Goliath throw. Goodbye, Goliath throw. Yeah, so there should be one more cannon coming up. I think it's the shortest of the three. So yeah, Mike's actually making really good time so far going into the first 3 chapters. In case you're wondering, there are a total of 22 chapters, plus the boss fight, which is technically a part of 22, the final boss, Chaos. But most runners generally have separate splits for that. There's also a section in between chapters called Apples that we generally have separate splits for. That's going to come later. That's going to be fun to talk about for sure.
Yeah, it's one of the heaviest RNG segments in the run, Apples. No fun.
Yeah. Yeah, generally we don't like getting to Apples. You'll see sooner or later. Yeah, I think this is a really well-paced run in terms of like skips, just like general fundamentals of the game, and then like RNG. Like, there's RNG to the game, but there's not a ton. Like, there's a good amount to where it matters, but there's not enough to where it's like a make or break run, unless you have unless the world record or personal best is like really, really optimized. Anyway, we're gonna go over, and chapter 3 is done. We're gonna go over and talk to Persephone. You have to do this so that you can move on to chapter 4. And here's French Flynn. Hope you enjoy.
Yeah, another note about Glitchless is that I would argue that it's probably the most beginner-friendly category to learn. You don't need too many Skylanders to make it work, and not having to, you know, learn a whole lot of big skips or tricks to get through the game faster. Or one strategy that we do, both in normal 90% and in Glitchless, which you'll be able to also see soon enough, is the use of one P2C, one player, two controllers. Or I'll be using two controllers simultaneously to control two Skylanders because this is a multiplayer game, if you didn't know. And it's useful in a couple situations, and we'll be making use of that later on as well. But the beginning of the run is pretty standard.
Yeah, the use of 1P2C is very unique. We'll definitely see that later. So yeah, here we are in chapter 4. Since we're on the Wii version, there's a little bit of a physical aspect in terms of shaking the remote, so as Mark is doing right now. What Mark's going to try to do right here, and did not get that one, almost did. But what Mark's trying to do is turn that, what do you call it? The spinny thing. I'm going to call it the spinny thing, because I don't know what you actually call it. But Mark's trying to turn, there's 4 spinny things, and out of 3 of them, what Mark's going to try to do is spin them, and just as it's finishing going down, like right there, successfully done, he's going to try to dash into the cutscene. That way Stealth Up has extra steps forward towards the gate. It's a little tricky, and it's risky because if you do it too early, then the spinny thing goes all the way back up, and you have to spin it down again, which is really unfortunate. And nicely done there. Got 2 of the 3. So, a little tricky, but nicely done. Another reason this is a beginner-friendly game, category, is because the use of multiple Skylanders, and it can be a little bit of a budget if you didn't have like a bunch of these as a kid. Oh, nicely done. Got that one too. Forgot about that one, right? There's like a glitch that you can get there by accident, and if you do, you just have to not move. But if you get hit into a cutscene by those enemies, you can move and basically skip like this fight right here. That's banned in Glitchless, but you can't, if you just get hit into it, you just have to not move. But dashing forward automatically avoids it. So anyway, yeah, if you, Glitchless is like, I don't know how many Skylanders are used in this category, but it's not many. And it's certainly not like rare ones. As opposed to any percent or other categories, like even 100%, I think 100% uses almost like 20 of the 32 Skylanders. And that includes Whamshell, who's like the rarest of the 32. It's not like, I don't know, it's like maybe a $15 Skylander, which is annoying. I was lucky enough to find it at the thrift store one day. But yeah, Glitchless is mostly just Stealth Elf, and you'll see other Skylanders like Cinder. I think there's a few others. Wait, we use Igniter in this one, right?
Yep.
Right. Yeah, so it's, for budget-wise, like if you didn't have a bunch as a child, it's definitely a lot safer. And also a fun fact, Glitchless used to be like the original Any percent until maybe, I don't know, 2 years ago, when our brains decided to like expand and find glitches. So, fun little fact. This is a pretty historic category. It's changed a bit. The Glitchless itself has changed a bit over the years, but it's still, for the most part, the same fundamentals of just moving quickly with Stealth Elf. Also, this is a lock puzzle. A lock puzzle. You'll see a few of those.
Also, I meant to mention earlier, we just finished up the air segment of this run. So the chapters in this game are grouped up by element. So we'll have, we started with the air segment, and then we have the water segment.
Nice.
Coming up now. Oh, I actually got that.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, you want to explain the snapbacks real quick?
Right, so snapbacks is when you back out of pushing a block just before the block is actually pushed by your Skylander, and basically it pushes the block and you can still move. So when you normally push a block, oh dang, that's really nicely done. When you normally push a block, you kind of stay frozen for like a second as your Skylander goes through the animation of pushing a block. And okay, 5 out of 6, that was really good. Snapbacks are hard generally to do consistently. Alright, we're gonna try to get this cutscene skip. Nice. Okay, I'll have to explain that one too. Dang. So yeah, in snapbacks, if you back out of pushing the block just before you actually fully push the block, you can move while... missed that turn. While you're... Yeah, if you skip the pushing animation, you can get the block pushed and move at the same time. And so you can optimize pushing more blocks, and you can also dash out of immediately pushing a block and gain extra speed. So it can save around like half a second to a full second, depending on the position you're in. Also, what Mark Alarm did earlier, it's a little past us now, but what Mark Alarm did was he tried to block the laser segment meaning the cutscene for opening a gate was delayed. Oh, this is called drunk camera, by the way. So if you enter that teleporter you saw earlier, oh no, oh that's unfortunate.
This is what we call a glitch.
Yeah, basically. So Mark's gonna try not moving.
This is a glitchless category.
So this game is a little finicky. This happens sometimes from drone camera, very rarely. This is just kind of unfortunate. So you have to sit through this cutscene without being able to skip it. So yeah, drone camera. Basically the camera doesn't follow your Skylander, and your Skylander is able to like do stuff because the game messed up. Because SSA Skylanders Space Adventure is great physics.
So right
so
here,
earlier...
right here, I'm grabbing an oil can. And you might say, okay, well, that's a part of the game, and that is a part of the game. But there's a little bit of info that you might not realize about that oil can. If you grab it while you're player 1, you get a cutscene that pans over to the far viewer, which is the thing that I just oiled. Right now, I'm actually playing as player 2. And player 2 doesn't get that cutscene. And it saves like 5 seconds, 6 seconds, something like that. That is like the only reason that we use player 2 in this run. Or why our main is player 2 in this run, is to skip that cutscene alone.
Yeah, we found that by accident once. That was funny. So yeah, the cutscene really just doesn't happen if you're player 2 for some reason. So we just take advantage of that. Also earlier, there's something we call Gurglefin RNG. Gurglefin is the fish character that we're traveling around with right now. Mark Alarm got bad Gurglefin RNG. It saves like it's a difference of 1 or 2 seconds. But basically, Gurglefin is placed randomly on the dock before you enter the chapter, and you have to talk to him to enter this chapter. And you want him like further away from the edge of the dock, because if he is, then you could save 2 seconds. But unfortunately, Mark had Gurglefin on the end of the dock, so that lost him 2 seconds-ish. So fun little RNG there. Not much of a time save, but it's kind of a classic time save we have.
Yeah, thankfully it wasn't the worst Gurglefin, because you can have Gurglefin just sitting on the dock contemplating life and all that. It wasn't doing that today.
I think there's like a 50% chance of getting bad Gurglefin RNG, and then there's like 6 different states, I think. There's 2 of them where it's like good and you save the 2 seconds. There's one where you only save 1 second because he's like halfway along the dock, and then there's 3 where he's like on the end. So usually you will get bad at RNG, but you know, it's only like a difference of 2 seconds. It's not a run killer or anything. It is a little annoying.
Yeah, not something that we...
Alright, so we're going to be going through chapter 6 here. Here we're trying to collect an item called the Twin Spouts. That is going to... Again, right now we're just collecting items so that we can fix the Core of Light, and Twin Spouts is another item to collect the Core of Light. There's 8 elemental... I think you explained that there was 8 elemental...
Yeah, there's 8 elemental, like,
call them.
parts, pieces, things.
There's definitely a name for them, and I'm not remembering it. Elemental sources. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That. So yeah, right now we're trying to get to the water elemental source. So we already have the air one. Gonna take out some of those enemies. So there's gonna be another fight coming up here, but basically Mark Alarm didn't have to kill all of those enemies up ahead to access the Twin Spouts. Here's an unscopable cutscene. Yay. There's like some fights where we can optimize killing certain enemies, because some of these gates close after only specific enemies are killed. So just because the gate presents a ton of enemies doesn't mean you have to kill all of them. It just means you have to kill the ones that will close the gate for you. So here I believe it's just... oh right, we do that! I forgot about that.
I was really nervous of getting that because I missed that a couple times in practice, so I'm really glad I got that.
I straight up forgot that was the thing I actually...
Yeah, we used the jump mechanic of... or jump, in air quotes, mechanic of stealth elf to...
So if you can't... Yeah, so in case that wasn't specified in chapter 1, basically stealth elf has a lot of momentum in the air if you go from B to A. Stealth elf can get really far. I forgot about that. That's a really unique skip. Not a glitch, also, because it's like using in-game mechanics.
Anyway, so now comes the first Skylander swap of the game. So we are now using Cinder. Cinder has an inherent property of being able to fly over water, and that is a completely dev-intended mechanic of being able to, you know, fly. Water Skylanders can also travel over water. Oh,
that was a little close.
That was really close. But yeah, so Cinder's able to fly over water. There's a few other Skylanders that can as well. Cinder just happens to be the fastest given her dash. So. Oh.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Don't want the camera glitch there.
That enemy is called a habanero. We want to kill it because the goal of the habanero is to collect these statue pieces that we're collecting right now. I believe we have 3.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you don't kill it, then it gives you like a 6-second long cutscene and it's annoying. Also, what we said earlier was, if you heard Mark and I say that was really close. If you go too far left in flying onto land, you get a cutscene where the Leviathan in this chapter, which is like the gimmick of this chapter, will eat you. And then you have to like get out of it, and then you're like in a weird position, and it loses a lot of time. Like, I don't know, 10 seconds. It's annoying.
Yeah, it's
so if you accidentally go too far left, you get eaten by the Leviathan, and you lose a lot of time. So that's why we refer to that as really close.
That was a really good cannon segment for our ship.
Yeah, that was.
So fun fact about this ship is that its collision still exists even if it's not rendered here. So in normal 90%, you just kind of walk across air, but that doesn't make sense for a glitchless category. So
yeah, there's a very thin invisible wall, and Cinder's dash attack can actually get through that wall. So it's like really ironic. I don't know if ironic's a good use. Really coincidental that Cinder happens to be the fastest Skylander and has a dash ability that gets you through very, very thin invisible walls. So just a little fun fact. And also we're going to be switching to stealth up here because we have boss fight number 1. This is, these are Shadowlanders. So this is the Shadowlander of Zap. Zap is the Skylander. Do we use Zap in 17?
We do, yes.
Yeah, so you'll see that one later actually. Yeah, Chaos is going to send 3 Shadowlanders of the water element. There's 4 of Skylanders in the water element, but he's only going to send 3 because he's lame. And our goal is just to take them out as fast as we can. This is called the shark segment right here. So these are sharks, they're annoying, and if you get really close to the shark, the game will actually slow down briefly so that it shows, it's supposed to be like a hype moment, like, oh, you just missed it, and also you get healed for some reason, because that's how sharks work, apparently. Don't try that at home. But, Mark's goal right here is to get as far away from the sharks as you can. This part right here is also RNG. I don't know what
I got really lucky.
That was really
good. That was really good.
So I'm guessing it's like a 50% chance that the sharks go for you, and a 50% chance that they are random along the walls. Mark got a really lucky pattern, which is great.
Yeah, I was kind of stressing about that because I didn't want to like choke a bunch of time.
Yeah. And
yeah, we
if
have
you get close to a shark, you can literally lose as much of a second, which is. Yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah, there's not really a whole lot else going on for the next little bit, so if the host wants to take a little bit of time to talk, feel free. I'm just going to kind of focus up for just a little bit.
Yeah, there's some sharks there.
I was taking a drink of water while you were saying that. So no donations in yet. Sorry about that. Yeah, but I just want to remind everybody that we are raising for the Canadian Cancer Society. So exclamation point D will get you that donation link, and exclamation point P will actually show you some of the cool prizes that we have going on. So yeah, every little bit helps, and we greatly appreciate, once again, everybody being here, hanging out. If you can donate, we greatly appreciate it. And you know what, if you can't, that is, just fine. We appreciate you just coming around and just giving some visibility to this awesome, awesome charity marathon.
Now coming up at the end of Chaos is getting all 3 in at once, all 3 Shadowlanders at once, and I don't think I'm gonna get it, but
yeah, you got an unlucky zap pattern there. It looked like.
No, I'm definitely not getting there.
Yeah, so what Mark's going for here is what's called unloads. That's where if you see how you have this death animation right here, where Zap's like, he's going, goodbye Zap, and he provides us with pizza. Every Shadowlander you kill gives you that animation. However, if you kill them around or even at the exact same time, you can actually cancel the animation. And if you cancel one, it's generally really easy to get the second for some. I don't know why that is. It's like a buffer system, I guess. So what Mark was trying to do was trying to kill them around the same time, like very, very tight. But if you get it, you can skip their animations, and it's really, really, it's a really nice time save. Saves like maybe 5 seconds for everyone you get. There's going to be 3 other opportunities for Mark to get unloads. The water fight is definitely one of the harder ones to get. Also, here's clams. This is a really annoying part of the game. Basically, we do difficult movement to get.
Oh, that was so good. Oh,
That
I'm
was
so
really
happy to
good.
be done with that.
Basically, we do difficult movement to get clams because who doesn't? I had clam chowder this morning, so you know who wouldn't? Who wouldn't be? Who wouldn't want some good clams right now? Anyway, yeah. So what Mark did was actually quite difficult precise movement to get 5 clams as quickly as possible. If you miss one, then they run away, and then you have to go catch it, and it's really hard, especially with Stealth Elf's movement, because Stealth Elf's movement is like very linear, because you press Z and you just go one direction, and then you press Z and go another direction. So it's like very difficult with Stealth Elf, but Mark did that very well, so that was hype, I would say. Anyway, here's chapter 8. We just got the water elemental source. 6 more to go. I believe the next one we're trying to get is the earth one.
Yep.
Right, it's going to be a snapback section here. These chompies are annoying because if they land on you, they don't really do anything if they land on you, but like, the screen tells you to like shake your Wii remote, and it's just annoying.
Yeah, every snapback that you get saves about a second. So it may not be much in the grand scheme of things, or at least for an individual turtle, for example, or an individual block, but over the course of, an hour and a half, hour, 45 minutes, where you're pushing probably pushing a block hundreds of times, it adds up. And then 100 seconds is almost 2 minutes, so if you got all of them, that's 2 minutes of time saved just by moving slightly better. And that's the kind of time save that
that was close. That was actually really good right there. So what Mark tried to do there is he wants to kill all. So he killed 2 Cyclops like immediately as soon as they spawn, but then the other 2 show up, and you kind of want to kill them right before they start spinning. Otherwise, you have to wait a second. Unless they go towards you, and then you can just tank the damage and kill them right after they start swinging. Mark got 1 killed, and then the other swung, but Mark ran into it like immediately. So that was actually a really good section. It was good RNG, but also just really well timed. And this section doesn't involve RNG. This one, you're just trying to take out these enemies as quickly as you can. That's actually okay. That was missed, but that was actually a really unique strat of trying to take out that enemy while efficiently getting around, destroying those like little circles. Yeah, so right now, the goal of the game is just to take out these towers so that you can get through this gate that is no longer there, so that you can get into the tower and collect another item that'll get us closer to getting the Core of Light. So this section's interesting. So there's enemies that are supposed to spawn on the right side. I guess they did. They spawn after you destroy both Chompy Pods, but only you destroy both Chompy Pods. I guess Mark killed them off immediately, but generally you want to kill the Chompy Pods last so that you can get to this left gate and just spawn kill like this. And the gate's down, and chapter 8's done. Very nice.
Yeah, I've opted to kill the Chompies early just so I don't get unlucky. Or it helps not getting messed up at the very end.
Yeah, I know what you mean. There's like the enemies that will throw boulders and they'll destroy the barrels that have chompies in them. And if the chompy is spawned, then you have to kill it. But if it's not open, if the barrel's not opened, then you don't have to kill it. Otherwise, then that gate with the eye won't open. Anyway, here's Cinder again.
So we're going to be using Cinder again just for more water movement. We swapped to Cinder early just because she is so fast. And because we have to swap to her later. Oh, I'm stuck in the corner.
What on earth? Okay.
So Cinder is really good for just going over the water, and since we have to swap to her anyway, we just do it at the very start of the level so we don't have to, like, time anything. And just, if we move well, then save another extra second just from that early movement.
Yeah, so very nicely done. That's one section of water we're going to go over. This is another one that's, like, really brief coming up right here.
And just cutting across the bridge.
Yeah. And then I don't think we use Cinder after that. Or do we?
We just use Cinder to get over here, and
That's fair.
and I do the swap while I'm pushing the block, so I don't need to get a snapback. It saves having to do one snapback.
That's fair.
It's a very
I
minor
really-
time save, but
I really like that you have the portal cam. I actually really like that. That's something I wish I could do because whenever I speedrun this game, I have a tendency to just throw my Skylanders off the portal. Wait, oh no, I've never seen this before. Wait. This is a unique block setup that I've never seen before. What on earth? Okay, second try.
yeah, that's really, really difficult movement. So getting a second try is really nice.
Yeah, I've never seen that before. That's actually a really good time save too because you have to push those blocks all around and stuff.
Yeah, it's a time save that I found probably a year ago. I think I'm the only one that goes for it. Well, I'm also one of the only people who plays it.
True. I've never seen that actually. That's a really cool skip.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult. But so getting it second try, I think saves still a little bit over the intended strat.
Yeah,
but
I think
anything
so.
slower than that is.
Yeah, that was really nice. We're gonna go over these blocks just because the game didn't wall you off very well there.
Can you explain the history of the movement in this section?
To be honest, I don't know the history very well. I just know there's like disagreement of there being like no time save there, and then all of a sudden there was time save there, and then there wasn't time save there. Oh, but then there was something like that.
So that's part of it. The other part of it is the name of that movement was kind of weird because one of the members in our community, Madman, he was going for that type of movement where he would cut the corners of the blocks and save a little bit of time, and it was deemed like the Madman climb. But
you found it, right?
yeah, but like I had been doing that movement earlier, and no one knew that I was doing it, so
Now it's
no
the
one was able
Mark
to.
Alarm climb.
Now it's the Mark Alarm climb, but just because of the history of it, it's kind of just both.
Yeah, it's a little fun fact. Also, here we're gonna try to. Oh no!
Oh my
It's
god!
unfortunate.
Of course.
So basically, we want to do enough damage to the Stone Town Golem right here, so that we don't have to go through another phase of him throwing a boulder. But unfortunately, we didn't get that. So yeah, we're just trying to take out this enemy as quickly as we can. Fun fact at 80% for absolutely no reason. There's like a weird Skylander swap that you can do to where the game just completes the level when you enter the boss fight. Like the level will just complete for some reason. It's a fun fact. But yeah, here we are, getting the Earth source, and there's 3 sources down. All right, so next we'll be going into chapter 10, and this is where we enter Arbo. Hi, Arbo. Right there where Mark just did, actually. He just skipped that cutscene of Stealth Elf going up the vine. But actually, if you like spam C, or so, it's complicated, but if you like spam C while talking to Arbo, oh, nice movement there. That's like a little buggy movement you can do. If you spam C while talking to Arbo, you can't skip that cutscene for some reason. The cutscene of Stealth Elf going up the vine. It's really weird. And there's an enemy that fell through the floor. So this is chapter 10. That is a great introduction to this chapter. This chapter is buggy as heck. You will see enemies fall through the floor because they want to. They do it at their own expense, and they do it at their own time. You can't choose when. It just happens. And we saw a good example of that, of an enemy just falling through the floor. Technically, it's a good thing, because that means you don't have to go through the time of killing an extra enemy, but yeah. It's comical. We used to really hate this chapter. It's not that bad these days, although this game, yeah, this chapter can still be like really annoying if it bugs out on you. We're gonna wait here briefly. Nicely done, because you still have the life zone. You have the life elemental zone where you can kill enemies faster. You do more damage as Stealth Elf because your life's counted. And you're in the air zone now, but what Mark did was hesitate briefly, just so that he could keep the life zones, so that he could kill those enemies quicker before entering the air zone. Because you keep the life zone like just a little longer on that bridge that he was using to kill those enemies. So very nicely done.
Yeah, and that zone was the introduction and had its introduction in chapter 2, and that was what we were referring to the zone actually mattering in one part of the run. That's the only time where manipulating like where our character is to get the zone actually matters. We either are just inherently life or we don't bother with the time save because it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
For the-
Also,
the
that was
extra
a really good
damage.
cycle you just got.
That's
You said
actually something that I have a setup for now.
Oh, really? There's a setup for it.
Yep, there's a setup. I can explain it. The spikes kind of come up on a cycle, but they kind of come up once they're like on camera or they're within like the field of the player. So what I do is I just kind of sit away from the platform that moves over in order to have the spikes be on the correct cycle. So I just have like a timer queue, and that's what I use.
Yeah. So is that why you stayed in the corner briefly?
Yes, that's exactly.
That's
what I was
so
doing.
cool. Oh, I'm learning things too. Jeez, I did not know that. That's one of the coolest things I've seen.
All right,
goodness.
so coming up here
boy.
is did I press this too early? I didn't.
Welcome to Apples, everyone.
So now what I'm doing is 1v2c, one player, two controllers. I am using two controllers here for not really that much for not that big of a reason. It saves
like
having
RNG.
to do half of a swap. And by that I mean, so you have I have Cinder right now, and I also have Stealth Elf. Oh, that actually got the app. So rather than taking Stealth Elf, swapping to Cinder, and then swapping back to Stealth Elf, I go into two-player mode, so I only have to add Cinder, and then when I go back to one-player mode, I take off Cinder, and then cancel out of the two-player mode, so I save the animation of getting a new Skylander. It saves a very, very little bit amount of time, but it is worth going for. It's not like...
Okay, so basically this section's called Apples. I will say Mark does not have good RNG here. I can
Yeah,
explain.
I'm kind of...
These sheep are being annoying too. So there's two parts of RNG to this. The first one is apples, and you're just trying to collect 15 apples. They grow at random speeds. I think the range is between like 7 and 12 seconds or something like that.
Yeah, that's something like
These
that.
apples are growing pretty slowly.
Yeah,
to
I
be
think
honest.
I have the highest, or one of the
Yeah.
highest on all of them. I just
It's the
can't
one at the
count.
top that's killing me right now. All three of these don't look good. Oh goodness. Yeah, so they do grow at random speeds, and it's really annoying. It's tree dependent, so every tree has a random different speed. It
Yeah,
looks like
I
all
easily
trees are pretty
lost
bad.
like 30, 40 seconds there on it.
Yeah, that was a really unfortunate apples. The other section of RG is the sheep, and what Mark was doing with Cinder was attacking the sheep so that they would like jolt up, and then you can move them away so that they're in stun. Cinder's a really good Skylander for this. I personally find Sonic Boom better. Sonic Boom is another Skylander because Sonic Boom can cover their jump range. Like while they jump, you can still hit them. You'd have to be a little more active, but also the sheep become less buggy because the sheep do get a little buggy and trying to collect apples. And what the sheep are trying to do is eat the apples, and that means if they do, then the apple has to regrow on the tree. So that's why we use Cinder there, because Stealth Elf is really not that good at apples. Technically, it would be faster to use Stealth Elf, but that's like if you're insane at the game. It's not even that, because you have to rely a lot on the RNG of where the sheep spawn and stuff. So yeah, apples is generally the most hated part of the game, because it's mostly RNG. It's definitely a very iconic part of the run too. Anyway, what Mark is doing right here is actually taking these extra rockets and destroying that ship, that chainsaw tank thing from a very far away, because you can, because the game didn't really intend for you to throw that far away, because they provide you rockets here.
Yeah, the tech
So-
in this level is considered, or just the strat, it's just called rocket smuggling. Oh, I'm getting pushed off. Where we just kind of smuggle the rockets from the very beginning of the level, and because the time it takes to get the rockets from the very beginning is faster than the rockets at the very end, we just double back at the very beginning, and then we're one rocket cycle ahead for the entire time. And we just take out that tank
Also,
like it's absolutely nothing. Otherwise, we
was
would
able
have
to
had to
destroy
go
that tank at the cutscene. Yeah, so there's another set of rockets behind that tank that we just destroyed, but the problem is those rockets are like pretty far away, and you have to go through a whole bounce pad segment and stuff. So it's like pretty obviously faster to get rockets at another point in the game. So yeah, Mark did a very nice job doing rocket smuggling. And yeah, here we are in chapter 11. We have the second Shadowlander boss fight. This one's the life. It's actually longer because it runs through 3 elemental cycles and not 2. So this section right here, where he's destroying snails, there's going to be a lot of cool optimizations here. But what Mark's trying to do right now is just destroy these red things that are called snails. I mean, I guess there are snails. As quickly as possible, so he just knows where they're going to spawn in. But there's going to be 3 segments of these so-called snails, as opposed to 2 segments. Like in the water when we only saw 2 segments of sharks. Here we're actually just going to see 3 segments of snails. As well as seeing the Shadowlanders. The Undead is another fight later on. The Undead Shadowlander fight, that's going to have 3 segments, but then the Fire one's only going to have 2. So there is a bit of a time dependency there. Also, that was a nicely done Stealth Elf. You want to kill Stealth Elf, the Shadowlander. Also, yeah, you're playing as Stealth Elf, so a little gimmick there. You're killing Stealth Elf with Stealth Elf. But you want to kill Stealth Elf there as quickly as possible, otherwise then Stealth Elf like disappears and dashes again, and you lose a couple seconds, which is annoying. And yeah, what Mark's doing here is he just tanked a lot. Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay, that was still...
Oh, Oh, no.
Yeah, you lose a lot of health by doing that. You only need to tank the last 2 here. You should be able to take this one.
I'm gonna play it risky. It's a marathon.
Yeah, true. Plus, you generally have a backup stealth up. So yeah, now Mark doesn't want to get hit, and Mark just got hit and died. So yeah, it's
been a long time since I've messed up this fight. I'll say that.
Yeah, so it's risky because you are taking like a ton of damage, but it speeds up the boss fight by I think it saves like 2 to 3 seconds, which is actually a lot for a boss fight that you're not really supposed to save time.
Oh, it saves way more than that.
Does it? Okay.
Oh, it saves a long time.
Oh dang. All right.
I
generally
kind of
2 to 3 seconds is still a lot, but
yeah, 2 to 3 seconds.
More than 2 to 3 seconds is awesome. So yeah, definitely worth doing. And here's the third section. You're just gonna want to circle around here, or do what Mark does. I consider what Mark's doing here, to be honest, kind of lame. You just kind of stand there. What I do, I just kind of like stand in the circle and just run in circles because it's funny. So yeah, no offense, Mark. Anyway, yeah, this part's just circling here, and then we're gonna get the 3 Shadowlanders.
Yeah, I kind of played this. I played the fight a little recklessly, but I mean, it's a marathon. We gotta try to have some fun.
Also, there's 3 slices of pizza on the right.
Oh my god. Well, I'm not used to using the pirate hat for this part.
Okay, so
surely I get a double.
So what Mark wants to do here is kill Zook and Stomp Smasher at the same time, and nicely done.
No!
Oh no!
Oh, I was 1 hit off. That was
that sucks. So you got 1 unload at least.
Huh?
Yeah, so that was what an unload looks like, where you kill both of them around the same time. That Stealth Elf one would have normally worked, but Stealth Elf, the Shadowlander Stealth Elf, unfortunately hit us away. And because of that, we couldn't get the other unload in time.
Oh, I swapped too early.
Oh yeah, the game does that sometimes. Anyway,
I don't want to be using that Stealth Elf.
It's chapter 12. 12 has gone through a weird phase recently.
Yeah,
30% and stuff. But thank goodness we can just be close to home and just do it normally and easily, as opposed to something that's really difficult and very confusing.
Yeah, 12 is honestly like the first major break of the run. Like there's a lot of stuff going on before that, like having to swap, having to do 1P2C, having to play a boss fight and intentionally take a bunch of damage. But 12 is honestly just like a relaxing level in Glitchless. Like there's really not a whole lot going on. There is one small skip that we do here, where this lock puzzle specifically, the intended solution is 6 turns to get all of the little orbs. We do it in 5, because the game didn't realize we could do it that well. It's still considered a perfect score, which makes sense, but it's just kind of interesting, because we beat it in fewer than the intended ones, which is awesome.
Yeah, basically we outsmarted the developers. So we're gonna do something here called the Nord Shut Up skip.
Oh, I actually wasn't gonna go for it, but you said, "Oh, we're gonna go for something."
Oh, my bad.
Oh, okay. No, you're good.
Fair enough. So basically what Mark does is he hits Nort, and because you hit Nort, Nort doesn't give you like an extra unskippable dialogue that's like 3 seconds long. So we call it Nort Shut Up because we're making Nort literally shut up. So yeah. Uh, and here's another lock puzzle.
I'd say
Unfortunately, there's not
for
really like any other lock puzzle tricks you can do. It was really just the one.
yeah. Otherwise, it's just kind of doing the lock puzzles with the minimum number of turns.
Yeah.
But other than that, there's really not a whole lot going on right now. So here's another opportunity.
There is actually.
Oh,
sorry.
wait, I was gonna say what's.
There's actually another method you can do with this lock puzzle that's like technically a 1/10 of a second slower. Fun little thing.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, the host can take it away if they'd like. Just gonna kind of run around and do some cleanup in this level. There's not really a whole lot going on.
I was ready for you this time. Yeah, I just wanted to jump in and say that we are only about $249 away from that $2,000 goal. I have to say, everyone here is absolutely crushing it, and thank you so much for everybody for all the wonderful donations. And, you know, like I've said before, just for coming around and hanging out. If you do want to donate, !D for that donation link. We also have some incentives and prizes as well, so you definitely want to make sure that we check all of that. We have, you know, some more awesome runs, and especially this one. This one's just like so much fun to watch, I will have to say.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you for doing this for us. But yeah, definitely make sure that we get those donations in, and we appreciate everybody here.
Oh yeah. I actually have something interesting to say about the history of Glitchless on the boards. So it actually used to be a category extension. It's not anymore. It's on the main boards, and thank goodness. But we originally had this on the category extensions because when we started like finding big glitches, we didn't know. There's like a certain point where it was like, okay, maybe we should have Glitchless because now we actually have a lot of glitches, like as a separate category. But I guess young us versions of mods decided to put it on category extensions because if our thought process was like, if we put it on the main boards, then every actual glitchless run in any percent would have to be moved. That's not true. I don't know why we thought that, because you literally just don't have to, because the runs that were originally glitchless were intended to be run as any percent. But yeah, they actually used to be. This used to be all category extensions, but it was a very popular, like definitely the most popular category extension. And since then it's been moved to the main boards, and yeah, Mark has definitely been the most active glitchless runner, and definitely held a lot of momentum in that decision, which honestly should have been a no-brainer, but we did that. So, a little fun fact: this used to be category extension, and I don't know why, but here we are.
Yeah, I'm one of like the main like advocates for glitchless as a category. It may just be for nostalgic reasons because when I used to run this game like several years ago, it was all that we had, and then I took a break for a while. And when I came back, there were a lot of like major skips. There was warps, really interesting things. But I just thought I just want to play what I used to play and not deal with all this new stuff. So I did that, and then just kind of pushed the category further than anyone else really wanted to.
Yeah, definitely a lot of good memories of like me with it was like me, Mark, Bensel, maybe Duke, and we would just
Yeah,
like,
yeah, Duke to some extent as well.
yeah, and we would just kind of like sit and do glitchless runs because it's like it's a really convenient run to just pull up if you're bored. It's just like, yeah, let's just do glitches. And it's just a lot of good old times, you know, being able to like it's definitely a more laid back run where you're not pressured to worry about the skips you're doing. You're just pressured to stay consistent, which is certainly not as bad. And then you just get to like talk and have fun in DC. So there's definitely a lot of good memories I have with this run.
Yeah, to play this run okay, or to just kind of like do on the fly, it's very easy. Pushing for world record and pushing the time down as far as it is now is very difficult. Just because it is such a movement heavy category that seconds add up, like this right now where I just cannot push this on the hill.
Oh yeah.
Thankfully, that is not the worst that I've had in practice, where I've lost over a minute to that bomb just not doing what I want.
Also, Mark Alarm just did like a very small movement optimization because the game, they present you. You're supposed to destroy a bomb wall, but you literally don't have to. Like, you literally just don't have to. You could just walk up it. So Mark Alarm did that and saved like a second or two. So weird game layout design, but hey, here we are. Also, yeah, that was a Mega Bomb that Mark was pushing for a while. Mega Bombs, to be honest, maybe my least favorite part of the run as a whole. Definitely not favored by anyone. But you know, in-game ball physics mechanics, just not fun. Because sometimes it goes in random directions, and sometimes it explodes when you don't want it to because you accidentally hit another wall. It's just, yeah, it's just a part of the game that is really annoying and precise. But Mark Alarm did it quite nicely, with like maybe one small error.
Yeah, it was actually going to be a goal. It got that one error.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was actually really clean. Wise.
That's good. Yeah, it did look very clean. Anyways, here's 14. 14's definitely gone through a lot historically. We basically just jumped through this whole chapter in 80%. But it's actually really nice seeing the whole level layout. 14 is definitely one of my favorite chapters. It's just a very uniquely designed chapter. Like, the game as a whole has a lot of cool chapter designs and layouts. So it's really unique to see, like, you know, especially through Glitchless, it's like you can actually appreciate what the developers are creating. Also, this is the first game in the series out of 6, in case you didn't know. This is the most popular game of the speedruns, but the others definitely have a lot of activity. I think the 5th game, Superchargers, maybe has the second most. It's that or Giants, which is the second one, and Giants is generally like a fan favorite, certainly my favorite. Giants is very similar, not very similar to this game, but it's like kind of same animation. But yeah, there's other speedruns of the series. Some of them are very, very different. Some of them are pretty similar to this. But yeah, certainly, like, you know, if you're enjoying this, definitely check out the other games. They're very unique in their own ways. They all have different, like, game-breaking mechanics.
Unfortunately, this is the last that we'll see of the Mega Bombs. No more of that.
Hey.
We're wrapping up the tech segment very shortly, just with one very, very, very difficult boss fight. Definitely not sarcastic at all.
That was really good, dude. Oh man.
It was definitely one of the hardest bosses in this entire game, for sure, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt.
I was worried about that part. You can lose like a whole 2 minutes on that part. Just somehow. Yeah, we're not being sarcastic. Here's T-Bone. T-Bone. Well, there's his head. Oh, there's his leg as well. Yeah, he's just kind of walking back there. Can't really keep up with Stealth very well. It's actually kind of funny to see him just crawl so quickly, actually. Yeah, now he's got an arm. He's almost there. He's got this. Hey! There's T-Bone. So we just kind of go around and collect his bones because he buried them for some reason. And here's chapter 15. We're going through the undead section. This is kind of like... I guess for some reason a lot of people don't like these chapters as much, like, casually. I personally like 17. 15 and 16, maybe they're, like, too similar. But, yeah, we're gonna go through both these chapters. Or at least we're gonna go through 15. We're not really gonna go through 16. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, 16 is gonna have something going on, and we're going to have to explain why it's allowed as well.
Yeah, 16 definitely has some controversy behind it. But well, when we get there, the big understanding of Glitchless is that it's what we can do with the intended game mechanics. Without doing like without doing anything that the developers just like missed.
For example, teleporting across the map would not be allowed, or building up infinite speed, even though that's not really useful in any context.
Yeah, it's more so. Are we taking the in-game mechanic? Let me see if it explains this. It's more so taking
am I gonna
the in-game
make
mechanic.
this?
Oh no! Wait. Oh, that's shoot.
I'm not really losing that much time. Just as long as I make this cycle, I'll be okay.
Yeah, I guess it's more so like, are we using the in-game mechanics to do intended things, as opposed to using intended mechanics to doing unintended things? I don't know. It's something like that. I think if you were to just look at the glitches and on not glitches, you could probably decipher what is and what isn't. Also,
Or at
there's an
least
enemy
put,
in
I
this.
was gonna say
Right.
at least put any percent and any percent glitchless side by
Yeah,
side.
if
And
you were to
say,
definitely, if you were to definitely compare this to 90%, you'd be able to decipher like, okay, yeah, that's obviously a glitch. Um, Definitely one of the like hardest things to talk about in speedrunning in general is definitely just like what is and isn't a glitch, and some games definitely present challenges with that. Definitely like some of the Zelda game series have had issues with that, like Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time. I could be wrong about that, to be honest. I don't run either game, but there's definitely some things in like Majora's Mask glitchless that look like they could be glitches but aren't. Things like that. But then using like bomb mechanics, definitely like a glitch. Also, the white spider right here is a really annoying enemy. Also, he's flying through the air for some reason. But the white spider, you see the webbing on the ground? Um, if you get caught in that webbing, you have to shake your remote to get out of it, which is really annoying. It also becomes like a weird conditioned response because I had one time where I was watching my friend speedrun this game, and he got caught in the webbing, and
okay.
my initial instinct was just to shake my hand, and then I was like really confused. It was really funny. Anyway, here's 16. This is maybe the hardest chapter in Glitchless.
Um,
Maybe. Nah,
I don't. If you want to explain it while I focus on
it's very different. Okay, so Mark's gonna put on a second Skylander here, I think.
Leo.
Yeah. Um. Okay. So moving up ahead, I think that like accessed a certain skeleton activation or something. Um. So he's gonna use the second Skylander. Gonna fire this. He's gonna move stealth up forward, and then as soon as he fires the cannon, gonna take Cinder off, and then move forward, and then this gate up front.
Oh,
As you
thank
saw the
God I
screen
got this
shake.
first try.
Nice, first try. And that's basically gonna skip the entire chapter. The whole point of the chapter is you're supposed to go around the whole chapter to eventually put a cannon right in front of it, so that you can destroy the gate. But there's literally a cannon that's right in front of the gate from the very beginning of the chapter. And so by using two Skylanders and just by moving quickly, you can just open the gate. That's definitely been a bit of a controversy. A lot of people have agreed that it isn't a glitch, but there's like a few people that still think it is. Um, we've decided it's not. It's definitely very sketchy, but it's also just like, the developers put a cannon there. We're firing a cannon. We're putting two Skylanders on. We're putting two Skylanders off. We're just moving fast.
Yeah, it's more of
So
cheese than anything.
yeah,
Like
it
they
is.
they gave
It's
us a
incredibly
cannon.
cheesy.
They gave us a cannon, and we are shooting it towards the gate. Like
I'm not actually sure why they put a cannon behind the gate in the first place. It's just a weird like chapter, I guess. Very weird layout. Um, but hey, that's what they did. Um, so yeah, we basically skipped the entirety of chapter 16. Actually, that's like a 4-minute long chapter, so that's a big time save. Um, that's been a that skip has definitely gone through different phases. In any percent, we actually no, in any percent we use the cannon skip. So in 90% we don't use a glitch, but we used to have a glitch where we would like, yeah, we would push Ghost Roaster, who's another Skylander, through the gate with another Skylander as 1P2C. So it's gone through different phases. That's where it stands, is that skip. So it's very unique. But yeah, for ages we've been basically skipping the entire chapter now.
so, here's another dev intended skip. So like the life bridge at the very beginning of chapter 2, if we use a water Skylander, in this instance Zap, we can just kind of go in this whirlpool and we get teleported further into the level. It's completely dev intended. I do 1P2C there to just save us half of a swap, basically, so it's just a little bit of time save. And that's the only instance that we use Zap in this run. You can actually use any water Skylander, we just choose to use Zap.
Yeah. It's similar to like in chapter 2 with the life skip with stealth off, where you're basically doing that but with water Skylander now. Also, the giant spiders, what are they called? Gargantulas, I think is what they're called.
I'm not sure.
The gates don't close until the Gargantula like completely despawns, because after you kill it, it has like a weird death animation. So you can actually take time during its death animation to kill like other enemies right before the gate is gonna open. So it's like a little neat optimization you could do in 17, but this chapter is actually, this is personally one of my favorite chapters to speedrun, because it's like a really precise IL. IL stands for individual level. That's a very precise IL to do, because there's like different ways you can optimize it, so it's really unique. This one also does have a little bit of RNG, or it's more like a cycle thing, like right here. Yeah, that's an unfortunate cycle, but basically we're trying not to get caught behind these pillars and getting hit by them, because then you get sent back, take damage, and lose a little bit of time. Use the webbing.
The way spiders are arguably the worst enemy in the game.
It's either that or the Habaneros. But the Habaneros are like
For different reasons, yeah.
yeah.
We
I think
might
hit the
see
Habaneros more.
why in chapter 18.
We might, yeah.
Oh,
Habaneros
I'd like
definitely.
to.
Anyway, so here, there's gonna be some tanking damage here, but this is like a puzzle. This is a little tricky. It's kind of like Clams, where it's just a lot of precise stealth left movement. But what Mark's trying to do is hit these buttons as quickly as possible without taking a lot of damage. So far, so good. I'm trying to like move around these corners quickly. That's unfortunate. Yeah, you generally don't want to hit that button all the way there. Other than that, so far this is actually going really well. And yeah, that was actually a pretty good segment.
That was pretty good. It was just that one small mistake.
Yeah, so that's definitely a hard part of this chapter. Ow. Anyway, here's the undead Shadowlander fight. So we're gonna be given 3 more Shadowlanders. This one's Ghost Roaster. He's used a lot in other categories actually. 1 cycle, nice. So if you move behind Ghost Roaster, he only dashed once, like seen there. However, if you're like placed somewhere else, he'll dash multiple times. I don't know if it's random. It shouldn't be, because obviously you can make him just dash once. But you want him to dash once, because if he dashes multiple times, then he goes all the way across the screen, and then you have to follow him in order to kill him so that you can access this elemental segment. So there is a way to manipulate him so that he can just dash once, and you can kill him immediately. And right now, Michael Arm's just trying to avoid these lasers. There's like no RNG here. There's really nothing you could do. You just have to not hit the lasers so that you don't accidentally die. If you're not paying attention, you can actually die here. That's like if you're being really careless. They do a lot of damage, but like it's pretty easy to avoid them. Anyway, here's Shadowlander top.
Unfortunately, there's not really a whole lot we can do to save time in the Undead Chaos fight. It's really just minimizing damage a little bit and killing the Shadowlanders as quickly as we can. But all of the like lasers that you see here are all just, they're all the same, on the same timer, on the same cycle, in the same format. The only really real RNG is at the end, where they will spawn in random spots, but at the same time, so there's no real time to save in this segment, so if the host wants to take it away for a little bit, they...
Yeah, we still don't have any new donations in yet, but that is perfectly okay. I just want to thank everybody again for coming around and helping us support the Canadian Cancer Society. And I feel like this isn't said as much, but I want to give a huge thanks out to Strizer just for, putting this all together and, really getting the community together and, putting on this event. And Simply Azuma, the Only Tugboat. I mean, everybody and all the staff that has been helping out with it, we greatly appreciate all the help. And of course, we greatly appreciate all our runners and everybody in chat just supporting such a great cause. It just really is an amazing thing. And from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much for being here and donating. And yeah, just thank you.
Right, so here Mark's gonna try to get an unload. Ooh, that. Let's see how this one goes. Ah, yeah, I didn't think
that did chop, not hex? What? I was so far away. I got one.
We got one though. So this one's generally like the easier one to get on loads, but Chop Chop and Ghost Roaster are definitely like really mean sometimes. Um, but yeah, so we got one unload there. That's a good one to get a double unload on. Double unload is when we get both of them. So yeah, nicely done. I'm actually not sure why you didn't get the unload on Chop Chop, because it looked like you were. Like, he hesitated for a second after he died, and I was like, what? But, oh well. Anyway, here's 18. We're gonna see my favorite Skyland. No, my second favorite. My favorite's Whamshell, because I'm from Maryland, and we like crabs. And Whamshell's a crab. I used to like this one, though. Drill Surgeon. Fun little fact about Drill Surgeon. He can destroy these rocks. Stealth Up cannot. You're supposed to use the mine to destroy these rocks. However, in-game, there's 5 Skylanders that can destroy rocks. Every Earth Skylander, which you're not going to see do that in this game, but every Earth Skylander can destroy rocks. So Prison Break, Terrafin, Dino Rang, and Bash can all destroy rocks. Drill Surgeon also can. However, it depends what path you're on. So his A attack, no matter how upgraded your Skylander is, because you upgrade your Skylanders. Oh, I should explain paths. When you're upgrading your Skylander, you have 2 different paths you can do to your Skylander. Basically 2 different upgrade paths. So they have different attacks dependent on what path you choose. And Drill Surgeon, his 2 main attacks, his A attack where he shoots his drills out, and his B attack where you dash, like most of what Mark's doing. If you choose the dash path, you can destroy the rocks with his dash attack. Ooh, that's unfortunate. The Lava King sometimes, like this enemy that Mark just killed, sometimes gets in your way. It's annoying. Anyway,
to actually grab some back and forth.
Yeah. If you choose the dash upgrade path, you can destroy the rocks with your B attack, your dash attack. If not, then you can only destroy the rocks with your A attack as Drill Sergeant. He's gonna try killing this Habanero, or at least hitting it away from a cutscene, and he did successfully. Very nicely done. Yeah. Very nicely done. So you want to shoot your A attack there at that Habanero, otherwise then he collects the key, which you don't even need the key, but he'll take the key, and you lose like 6 seconds. It's really annoying. It's a little RNG dependent, but for the most part, it's pretty... You usually get it every time. So yeah, very nice chapter 18, aside from the Lava King RNG, unfortunately. But yeah, Drill Surgeon is definitely a very unique Skylander in this game, to where you can just destroy rocks really quickly, because the game's developers decided to do that. So we use it to its full capability.
And we actually keep using Drill Sergeant into this next level. With basically every other level in the game besides Stealth Elf. We really only swap to a Skylander to do like part of a level that like really needs that Skylander. So you zap for the 1 chunk in 17, or Cindered across the water in 7 and 9. But we actually continue to use Drill Sergeant into this level because there's more rocks that we need to take out. And because we swapped to Drill Sergeant for 18, we don't have to swap to Stealth Elf and then back to Drill Sergeant. So we just keep using Drill Sergeant for this section. So right about now, I'm just going to take this bomb, throw it over here, to open this up. And that'll be the end of Drill Sergeant.
Right, very nicely done. Drill Sergeant is also a very fast Skylander. Not as fast as Stealth Elf, but with winged boots, which is an item. I can explain that, right? Winged boots is... So there's items in this game. They're like... They have figures. You'll actually see one in the final boss fight. An item like gives you like a power-up. So for example, later we'll see an item called the Time Twister Hourglass, and that basically slows down every enemy around you. They're just like little gimmicks the game gives you. To be honest, for the most part, casually, they're kind of useless. But
except maybe the treasure chest.
Yeah. Oh, that's true actually. But we can actually use these items for speedruns because they can be helpful. One item is actually called Winged Boots, but this is interesting. So Winged Boots makes your Skylander move really fast, or just faster in general, for a little bit. However, they crash your game. If you use it for the entirety of any percent, or any percent glitchless, the game will crash from around chapter 19 to chapter 21, or even 22. It's very rare not to have your Wii crashed when that happens. But yeah. So, in case if you're familiar with the series and ever wonder, why don't we just use Winged Boots? Well, you know, try it yourself, maybe. It definitely has had an effect on a lot of runners. They also slow down your loads when you load in between chapters into the hub. Your loads in general just slow down over time. So it's also just a time loss in general. I'm not sure. I don't think we're sure if it's based on if you put them at the beginning of the game, um, it'll just crash eventually, or if you leave it on. It might depend on how long you have wing boots on. Not even sure why it makes the game crash, but it does. So fun little fact.
Yeah, before we knew why those crashes happened, we actually used winged boots, and we're just like, man, why is my game crashing? Like, you know, more than halfway through my speed run. I want to, get a good time. And we didn't know why it happened for a while, and the crashes is actually why I stopped running this game a few years ago, because we didn't know why. And I was just kind of frustrated with losing runs to something that we thought was outside my control. It turns out it's just winged boots. So
Yeah,
we just don't use
there
them.
are also like a few other soft locks that can happen, but we now have ways around them. I think the only chapter that really matters for soft locks is going to be the next chapter.
Yeah.
I think.
I think I have a consistent setup to get around it, but we're gonna find out. Also, it's a marathon, so who knows?
We experiment. Yeah, there's like two possible soft locks in chapter 20 for some reason, and they're both enemy related. Like, if you skip an enemy cutscene by accident, you can't progress. You'll see them later. Hopefully you won't see them later, actually, but you'll see, like, we'll just, like, pause for a second. So yeah, this game is a little finicky on its own. Yeah, this is definitely one of the better developed games than the others. Like, there's some of the Skylanders games that are, like, just glitchy all the time. Like, Giants is a little more glitchy than this game. Trap Team is definitely known for being very glitchy, just in general. Or I guess you'd say buggy. Um, this game definitely, it doesn't present itself as buggy, but there are definitely.
I just realized I left my oven on. I need to go turn off my oven. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Uh-oh. Hopefully I don't get hit.
Oh yeah, hopefully you don't get okay. Shoot. Well, I hope his house is okay. Doesn't look like he's getting hit though. Yeah, Stealth Elf's just kind of vibing. Yeah, I think he'll be fine. So basically right now, he's...
Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Sorry. I was... Oh my god, I being in this, like, oven thing in Skylanders really just reminded me of that. I left that on for the past hour. That was really stupid of me. I'm so sorry.
You didn't take any damage, though. You didn't even lose any time, so you're fine.
Thank god.
Yeah. Yeah, you just kind of, like, left your Skylander at the bottom of the screen, and it just didn't get hit for some reason, so... Yeah. You're good. Anyway, here's another possibility of unloads, but this is by far the hardest chance of getting any unloads. Oh, that's a good position, though, for Sunburn.
Yeah, Flameslinger was not in a good spot. But
Probably not.
Probably not. Maybe one if I'm lucky.
Yeah. If Eruptor were closer, I think that would have definitely worked.
Yeah, or if I was actually able to damage Sunburn.
Yeah, Sunburn. So Sunburn is that Shadowlander right there, and Sunburn is definitely one of the most annoying of the Shadowlanders. Because yes, the Sunburn like hits you away, does a lot of damage, and teleports away, and has a lot of invincibility from teleporting. So it's just in general a very annoying Shadowlander to deal with. Anyway, so what Mark's doing here, nicely done. So Mark actually waits a little bit before pressing C. When you press C on the nunchuck, it skips the cutscenes. But Mark hesitated a little bit just so he could skip Stealth Elf walking along that chain for like 8 seconds. Because if you press C immediately, I guess the game doesn't load in as well. So nicely done. Also, Mark's not going to move too quickly.
Oh, thank God! Thank God.
That enemy right there, if you dash too far forward or go too fast, it's really just a Stealth Elf thing. Basically us struggling because we're too fast. If you go too fast there, that enemy cutscene that Mark just had doesn't happen. And then there's like an invincible enemy later that you can't kill. And you need to kill the enemy so that you can progress through the chapter. So
there's also, and there's also no way to get that cutscene that I just got to happen. By like running.
You just kind of have to wait it.
No, you have to reset. as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, if you get the soft lock. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you do have to reset the chapter. Anyway, Mark's gonna kill that enemy. That enemy holds up its shield, but you killed anyway. Right there, Mark only moved a little bit. If you dash forward, then that enemy that just had a cutscene called a magic spell punk does not play its cutscene, and then when you enter this teleporter that's about to spawn, the enemies are just not there, and then you can't progress. That is like you have to also that's also a soft lock that you have to restart the chapter on.
So that second one, you actually the cutscene is triggered by just being in a certain spot, so you can roll away and then come back, and then you're still able to trigger. So that one is recoverable if you screwed up, or if you screwed up before you go on the teleporter.
Yeah. So, but we got past both. We got past both soft locks. So we're good to go. We're gonna be moving on in 20. We just have some block puzzles, so a little more laid back here. This part's definitely a little frustrating. Yeah, this is one where you, this is one of those parts of the chapter where it's like, if you don't make your snapbacks, you just kind of get frustrated because it's like, oh no, I'm not making my snapbacks. Time loss. Ah, kind of thing. It's not really time loss. I mean, it is if you're comparing it to something that has the snapbacks. But yeah, it's just a lot of these block sections are like you rely a lot on snapbacks, because it's like the only time save you can make out of it. And it's also frustrating in the sense that if you can miss it too early and then you just like lose time.
Like that.
This block is annoying. Also here, there's a certain way that you can do this block puzzle. Yeah. There's a certain way you can do that block puzzle. If you do it like in a weird way, you get an unskippable cutscene for 15 seconds. It's really annoying. But yeah, fun little fact. So the way Mark did that was like the most optimal way of doing it while being able to skip the 15-second cutscene for the block pushes. Wait, where's? Oh, is it that imp? Oh, that was weird. Yeah, I was confused too. I was
like, normally I was like, how do I kill everything? I didn't know that you had to kill it. I guess I just kill it anyway.
Yeah, usually, because it's usually just in your way and it's the one to kill. Alright, that's gonna be it for chapter 20. We have 2 more chapters to go. Unfortunately, 21 and 22 are very long. Well, 22 if you count the boss fight within the chapter.
Yeah, chapter 21 is another example of where regular any percent. Oh, I messed this up. Oh, I have a cue for it. I was like slightly too early.
Yeah, it felt a little early. Yeah, so this is the cutscene you don't. It's like an 8-second cutscene that's really annoying, but that's a cutscene that we have setups for so that we can skip depending on how you skip the dialogue cutscenes. By the way, is the game audio on stream? Like, just wondering. I'm not. Okay, I was wondering. So this is yeah, not in a serious contest. Sorry, this is more of a like. This part is really good music, so you get to hear it. So we're gonna be entering an auto-scroller for a long time.
The next 4 minutes.
Yay! So now it's your time to like, you know, bathroom break, go get a coffee or something. Because we're gonna be sitting here on this automaton. Fun fact, in any percent, we literally just warp past this automaton and skip the entire 4 minutes of auto-scroller. So yay!
Yeah, one of the major differences is this auto-scroller alone. There is nothing we can do to save time, there's nothing we can do to lose time. Well, except for dying with that, like...
Yeah, sure. Don't die. That'd be bad. I mean, just died here once.
I was gonna say, the only thing I can do here is try to go for a damage list, but I've already... So now there's nothing worth doing now.
The very first run I did, I actually died twice. I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah, this is like me running off of my OBS, and I was just like, yeah, I'll try SSA. It looks really easy, and then I proceeded to get a 2-hour and 30-minute run for second to last place.
Nice. Yeah, this is just a long auto scroller. There's really nothing. I think the only other thing that could be noted about this auto scroller is if you manage, so using glitches, if you're able to warp like on this floor, you can build up infinite speed with a Skylander called Chop Chop, and you can get ridiculous speeds, but unfortunately it just doesn't matter at all. You would think that getting infinite speed would be like helpful in a speed run, but unfortunately for Skylanders it doesn't really work.
Anyway, generally this is like a fan favorite song. So I will say one nice thing about Glitchless is you get to hear this amazing song that's playing.
But yeah, if the host wants to take it away again, they have about 2 more minutes, 2.5, something like that. So go away with whatever you got.
Yeah. Trying to think. So I do want to reiterate that we are raising money for the Canadian Cancer Society. Bringing up something that's a little bit personal to me is I've actually had multiple family members who have been impacted by cancer. Thankfully, they are doing well now, but I've had a few that unfortunately have passed away. So I just want to thank everybody for being here and supporting such a fantastic cause. I know most people know somebody who has been impacted by cancer. So every dollar helps, and we greatly appreciate everybody who has donated. And once again, I want to make sure that, you know, if you cannot donate, just being here and giving us visibility means a lot as well. So thank you so much for being here. And yeah, thank you to our runners as well. This has been such an interesting speed run. Like I said before, I don't think I've actually seen this run, and I'm loving every minute of it. So thank you for showing this off for us.
Thank you for the kind words. Glad it's been interesting.
Yeah,
maybe accept this. Maybe accept this part.
Maybe. I mean, even then, it's pretty relaxed. It's just not like, you know, not like anything too interesting is going on. Yeah, Mark has been in this community longer than I have.
Since 2019, yeah, around 2019.
Yeah, I've been here since like mid 2020. And it's just been falling in love with this series. It's just been such a SSA has been like, I don't know. I love running this game. I really do. I started running Giants, then I got to this one, and I just got hooked. It's just such
hello? I don't die. Okay. I was reading notes for a second. Oh my god. Heart attack.
I was like, wait, no, I'm not spending another minute in this, please.
Not another 4 minutes. Or is it just the little loop that you have to redo?
You have to go back. Oh no, I think it's more than a minute actually. You have to go back to like the lava area, like the area where you enter the circle, I guess.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, so it's a long ways back. Anyway, yeah, it's been such a great community to be a part of, and it's like it's such a cool speed run, and like the way we're all just like we're all from different places, but then we all just collaborate to save time on a speed game, which, as ridiculous as the concept sounds, it's so fun. And it's just, yeah, it's been a blast. And just seeing people like Mark Alarm and other runners being able to use their skills to do events like this, or just like promote others to run, it's great. You'll have to see it. You'll have to see the different varieties of categories too, and even the other Skylanders games. It's great. So, if you're watching this and you don't speedrun, I recommend. It's fun. I mean, you know, maybe it's not for you, but it's definitely it's really fun, at least in my opinion, to just like see how far you could push yourself to getting good at something. So it's a very unique concept.
That door just didn't go through its opening animation.
Did it not? Oh, did it just like prop
It
up
just
immediately?
It just popped open immediately. That's weird. We call that an SSA moment.
Yeah, that's an SSA moment. All right, the third button.
Actually, remember to hit them all. That's a good thing.
Yay! We're going to be collecting the magic source, and this is the last source of the game. So we're done. Wait,
But not really.
not really. Yeah,
But
no, we're not.
really. We have all the sources, and that allows us to access the final level of the game. So
The Core of Light is complete, but now we have to go stop Chaos because he's still lurking in the shadows, I guess. We have a long unskippable cutscene here. This is Hugo. Honestly, Hugo is like the most useless important character in the game because I feel like he's supposed to be more important than he actually is. Actually, that's not true. I take that back. That's like a Giants thing. Because in Giants he like does nothing, but in this game he does everything. So, I lied. I don't know why I said that. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of other unique characters in this game that we don't really see, NPCs at least. Like Callie. We don't really see Callie much. Callie's definitely more active in Giants. And here's the final chapter, chapter 22. This one's a bit shorter than 21, but there is a final boss that's probably going to make it about the same length. The final boss is very unique, actually.
yeah, when you combine them, this one's a little bit longer, or the level plus the boss fight. But the boss fight is actually one that we have to like pay attention to and
Yeah.
try to do well.
They're separate, but also it's like you can't access the boss fight without it going into 22, even after you complete the game. Yeah, you still have to go into 22 if you want to access the boss fight. So they're sort of combined, but like if you look at the leaderboards, the individual levels just 22. Like we're not combining the boss fight with that or anything. So yeah. So the nice thing here, these like giant spike electric things are trying to hit you, but stealth up's just fast, so we don't care. And there's no need to kill all these enemies. We're just trying to get these keys to get to the triple key gate. We have to collect 3 keys in order to progress.
Yeah, and this is also another level where normal any percent actually skips quite a bit. Using a Skylander called Tornado, also better known in our community as just Soup.
Soup.
We are able to just kind of jump over the key gate with a precise spin and angle, and hop over it. But again, we're just gonna grab the keys and
Yeah, because we're
play the game
cool.
anyway.
Imagine skipping the game. That's lame. Also, here's Bill. Say hi, Bill. Okay, you just killed Bill. Bye, Bill. Bill's a tech spell punk. He only matters 90%, but like, yeah, it's a fun inside joke. It's like a part where he's supposed to move so that you can progress. If he doesn't move, you have to walk back to the beginning. Not to the beginning of the chapter, but like to the key gate. So, and then I named him Bill for some reason. Anyway, just a lot of fighting here. Should be the last enemy. The Lava King here. And 22 is complete. Now we have the final boss fight.
How was that a gold?
Oh, nice, was it?
It was by like maybe 0.1.
Ah, okay. So we're gonna use 2 different figurines here.
Well, else can use a magic item.
Right. That's actually what I meant by figurine, sorry. So we're gonna use the Time Twister. So there's a damage cap on Chaos to get to the next phase. However, if you don't use Time Twister, you can't skip this phase. We don't really know why that is. It might have to do with the elemental attack that Hydra sends. Actually, it shouldn't be. Basically, if you hit the damage cap while you have the Time Twister Hourglass on, you can skip immediately to these Shadowlanders right here. If you don't, then you have to go through another phase of Chaos fighting. It's weird how that works. Like, we're not really sure why that is, but, well, it's a time save. And here's Shark. So this is probably the second biggest RNG section of the run. There's multiple different versions of attacks the Hydra can send. That's like the giant dragon, you see? The dragon is what destroyed the Core of Light, by the way. Also, you can't get downloads here, Shadowlanders. Or unless you can if you kill them at the same time, I think.
No,
But it
you
has to be at the
can't.
same time. Does it not?
No, I mean, unless something was discovered, you can't live here, which is.
Oh, I thought it was if you kill them at the same time.
Not even that. I mean, unless it's like frame perfect, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Maybe. Okay. Anyway, so here's a life phase. There's 3 different life phases you can send. This one's not great, but it's better.
I think that's the mid one.
It's the mid one. Yeah, there's 3 different phases. And Mark Alarm got one that's like, okay. It's not the slowest, but it's not the fastest. So RNG dependent. The Undead one is the biggest one. Because there's a 50-50. There's only 2 different cycles you can get. Right here. One is like 6 seconds slower than the first one. I think. I forget how I timed it.
Nice. He got the good one.
Okay, he got the good one. So this one's gonna go by way faster than the other one. There's another one that takes at least 6 seconds slower. So that was lucky. Good RNG so far. And then the fire one, all of them are roughly the same speed, with like a few different frame differences. But right now, Mark is just killing the enemies here with stealth elf. In any percent, we actually use Igniter because we may as well switch at that point. But with Glitchless, you're already playing a stealth elf, and it's a little easier to kill the. It's also a little faster to kill the Shadowlanders with stealth elf, just a little bit. Igniter can actually do it faster with some of the phases, but not with the other ones of Shadowlanders. So like the one Mark Alarm just did, that one's faster to do with stealth elf than Igniter. But with the first 2, or I think it's like the first and third one, that could be faster with Igniter. Also use Igniter, I should probably explain Igniter.
We're actually coming up on the end of the run, by the way. Time will be coming up soon.
Basically, if you ram your head into chaos and you spam B, you complete the game.
Ideally.
You can do this in one phase with Igniter. Alright, we're gonna come up on time. Mark, if you want to time it.
And that is time.
GG.
That was a golden. Nice. That was a really good chaos fight.
Yeah, that was. You got good RNG and you got one cycle.
Good RNG played pretty cleanly.
What was the final time?
I'm waiting for stream to catch up. But it looks like 1:35:14.
Pretty good.
Oh, we'll set off some fireworks.
Little in-game gimmick.
Well, as the fireworks are going, is there anything that you want to say? Where can we find both of you? And is there a Discord for anybody who's interested in possibly picking this up?
For sure. I'll do mine really quickly. First off, I'm Mark Alarm. You can find me on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, as such. I want to give a special thanks first to Ant for doing the commentary with me. It was a blast to do it with you, and I think it turned out really well. Special thanks to my friends and family that may or may not be watching right now. I appreciate your support. Shoutouts to the Skylanders speedrunning community. There is a Discord for it, and it's for all of the Skylanders games, so if you have a particular favorite, that's going to be in the server, and you can get started and start picking up some strats, learning the game. Yeah, that's it from me, I think. And if you have anyone in particular you want to shout out, for example.
I'm Mega A-Man. You can find me on YouTube. I also do competitive Smash, so if you're ever interested in that, hi. I play Mega Man. Sorry, I had to mention that. Yeah, thank you so much, Mark. You're great. I was absolutely a blast commentating with you, dude. Great run. And yeah, thank you for representing the community. Shout out to the community as well. And if you are interested in running these games, please join the Discord. We'd love to have you. You can find it on speedrun.com through any of the Skylanders games. I believe there should be a Discord link there. And yeah. Thank you. Thank you for having this event.
Awesome. All right, everybody. That was Skylanders Spyro's Adventure. But do not go away because we have some more awesome runs coming up. Next, we have Pocky and Rocky Reshrined. And this is going to actually be the end of my hosting today. But I want to say thank you, everybody, again, who came out. It was a ton of fun. I will actually be back tomorrow. But do not worry, you're going to be in fantastic hands for the rest of today's events when Cousin Catnip is going to be back after our short break. So stick around.